Hey everybody, welcome back. It is Sunday night. You'll be seeing this Monday. How's everybody doing? Just got back from cruising. Sunday night cruise night is a tradition in Winnipeg, Manitoba. All the hot rod guys come out in motorcycles, and we go fairly regularly. We take my daughter and park the 7.3 Power Stroke on the side of Portage Avenue and just watch all the hot rods race by. It's always good fun. Gets the juices flowing, and my daughter just absolutely loves it. Anyhow, what are we doing tonight? Well, let's do the finish work on the 2101 XP. This is the part that usually guys and gals have the hardest time with. The grinding doesn't really matter if you hit your numbers. It is the finish work that will bite you pretty hard if you don't do it properly. So let's jump right in, and I'll show you guys just different things that you can use to finish your cylinders. Let's get to the bench. Okay, so we're here at the messy porting bench, and here's our cylinder. I'll try and get you guys some more good light in there. Okay, let's turn this light on. That'll help us. There we go. Okay, here's our cylinder. It's all ported up. Okay, now after you're done porting your cylinder, okay, take your finger, run it along there. You will feel some sharpness and some bumpiness. Okay, this one's really sharp on the top there. Okay, this upper transfer is really sharp, etc. Okay, your exhaust port, really sharp. Now, if you just port your cylinder and you don't do anything to those rough edges, well, guess what? You'll run your saw for the first time. Maybe that first tank you put through it, you'll put it in the wood. It'll run really good. And then, guess what will happen? You'll say, I'm going to pop the muffler off and have a look. Or you'll just keep running the saw, and then eventually it'll start to be low on power. And you'll say, geez, this thing doesn't feel good anymore. Well, guess what? You'll have cut your piston to pieces, okay? It'll be all scratched up and nicked. So, this is the most important part of porting, okay? This is going to be the hardest step to learn, at least it was for me. It's going to be the hardest part to get right, okay? So, I'm going to show you guys a few things. Easiest thing you can use, well, I'll start with these, okay? You want to put a chamfer on your ports. Okay, on every port. And all a chamfer is, you take that sharp edge and you knock the corner off of it, okay? Now, on an exhaust port, if your chamfer is really big, that will affect your timing. So if you're running ragged edge of sanity timing and you break the edge too much, well, guess what? Your timing, your exhaust roof may end up being higher. Now, I buy these. I buy them online. You can get these on eBay, Amazon, wherever you want to shop, okay? I buy these. These are really, really good diamond burrs. The only thing with these is they're really short, okay? So when you're ordering your diamond burrs, try and buy ones that look like, let's see if I can find one here, that are this long, okay? Now, you can use whatever shape, size, whatever works for you. It doesn't really matter, okay? Whatever works for you. I even like these. I'll go over that chamfer. These are rubber that are impregnated with a polishing compound with a fine grit of like cubic zirconia dust. Okay, and I'll actually go around after I cut my chamfer in there, and I'll actually go over it with that, okay? If you don't want to be fancy, more often than not, friends, I take some wet dry sandpaper, 600, 800 grit, 1000 grit, this stuff here, this is 800 grit. I'll rip a small corner off, I'll put it in my finger, and I'll literally just sit there and go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And after a while, it'll be so smooth that it'll feel better than factory. It'll be shiny like glass. That's what you want, okay? So that's for your chamfer. I'll do a chamfer on this exhaust port, and hopefully you guys will be able to see it after. Now, polishing your exhaust. Do you need to polish your exhaust? No, you do not. And then again, everything I say is not only my opinion, but it's an opinion based on what I've done over the years. I don't ever give you guys opinions on products I haven't used or techniques that I don't use. Or I heard from a guy or I saw online. I never do that to you guys. I just go based on what I know, okay? If you have tried something different and it works, you might say, well, I do it that way all the time, okay? The best, well, really, the best, the easiest and most factory available way to polish is get yourself a small sanding drum and go to town with this thing, okay? Problem is with these, they don't last very long. They come off, and the mandrels that they sit on tend to wear out quite quickly. But I used to buy these in bags of 250 of each grit. This is 240 grit, and I would go to town with that. You could buy these roll-off abrasive rolls. Okay, and all this is a roll of abrasive that you can peel off. These work really well. And you can unpeel them. This is a fine grit one. I think this is like 240, 360, somewhere around there. This one I made, I took a mandrel, a 1/4 inch mandrel, and I put it in my lathe. Okay, and that way I can put it in my Foredom tool. I'm probably going to use this today. Another thing you could do, this is one that I've bent. You could take a circlip. Friends, it's late. What do you call these things? Okay, take one of these doohickeys here, unfold it, and put a piece of Scotch-Brite in there. Use some WD-40 and go around and around and around with that. Works like a charm. Now, this only works if you have a chuck like this. If you don't have a chuck on your Foredom or your Dremel. Now remember, friends, if you don't have a Foredom, use your Dremel. I ported with a Dremel for a long time before I ever got a Foredom. And the only reason why I got a Foredom is one of you guys sent me my Foredom kit, and I've been using that ever since. You don't need a Foredom. Do they help? Oh, yeah. Is it easier to change tooling? For sure it is. Do you need one? No, you absolutely do not. So you don't need anything fancy to port. Now, the next thing is, do you need to polish your exhaust? No, you don't. Should you? I think you should, because it keeps the carbon from sticking. You end up with, when you run your saw for a while, you'll end up with carbon all the way around. That carbon often can end up sticking into the cylinder, and it'll scratch your piston. Okay? So, all these things are readily available. You can buy them online. You can buy them at a hardware store. This stuff's easy to get. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go over all this porting. I see one little spot down in here that's dark. I didn't quite get in there yet. I'm going to grab, I usually do all my finish work with one of these. It's a ball mill. This one's kind of clogged up. I have another one here, but that's usually what I use for like my nitty-gritty finish work. Okay, I'm just going to grab it right now. I ported this whole cylinder with this thing. Other than the lower transfers, I did with this ball end. Oh, I dropped that on the floor. You guys ask, what kind of tooling am I using? I'm still not using anything fancy. I'm using this stuff right now. I got a brand new package that's been sitting on the shelf. Those of you that are coming to Buck and Stock, I'm going to be bringing my porting tools. I may port some cylinders while I'm there, depending on time. But these are the ones I've been using. They're not super expensive, but they're not the cheapest burrs. I find these are lasting really good. They're really sharp. And I poured a lot of cylinders with one of these. So that's what works for me. There are better tools out there, but that's what I've been using. Again, I'm not a production shop, so... Okay, now all I'm going to do here is I'm going to move you guys over just a hair. Just going to go in here like this. And I'm going to just see if I can get down in. Oh, and I think, friends, yeah, I just broke my cable. Oh, good times. I definitely just broke my cable. Yeah, friends. Whoop. Hold on a second here. I think I have another cable that I bought like 2 years ago. Give me a second. Aha. Guys, laugh with me or at me. I bought this years ago because a buddy of mine broke his Foredom. I remember I was on the phone with him and he's like, he was finishing an important saw. And I was like, you gonna finish that saw? And he's like, no, I can't. My Foredom's broken. And I thought, well, what do you mean? And he said, I broke the top end off. And here it is. Now, funny story. I broke this end off about, I don't know, two years ago now. And I fixed it. And I thought, I better buy another one. And it was around the same time my buddy broke his. Now, the way to break these is you use them on steel, okay? That's how I broke mine. So, anyways, let's fix the Foredom. I guess that's what we're doing right now. Okay, I get asked a lot. I'm just thinking of emails that I get asked a lot about my, what do I use for grinding? Well, I use one of these. This thing's dirty. Everything that sits in this shop gets dirty. The wind blows right through here. And I use one of these. It's a Foredom SR. Friends, I don't even know if this thing is legit. There's a lot of knockoffs. I kind of think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is actually a clone. I don't think it's real. Yeah, that would be too easy if that was the right one. But anyways, I've been using this for, well, forever. And it's been a good unit. Just trying to find the right thing here. Anyways, so I bought this replacement piece years ago and thought, oh, I'm gonna need this like right away, and this is the first time. So I'm kind of happy I did that because buck and stock's coming and I want to finish this saw, and I'm probably going to do one, maybe two more, but I only have 4 weeks left, so we're getting down to crunch time. So I'm kind of happy I just happen to have this in stock. Now, one thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to replace the screw that came with this one. It's just a flathead. Oh, maybe I'll use a flathead screw. Why not? It should be okay. Give me a second here. I just got to grab my tuning screwdriver. Okay. So there's a flat on here, right here. Slide this in. Now, I don't know if this is just an aftermarket one that I bought online. Okay, now I'll grab the tube. Where did I put that? Right here. I'm going to put a little 2-stroke oil down there because 2-stroke oil makes everything better, right? Okay, let's put a little bit of that in there. And now I'll just slide it over. Well, I guess this is what we're doing today because, well, that's the way the cookie's crumbling. Good, it fits. I was starting to wonder there for a second. I was like, is this the wrong size? Okay, put this on there. And there we go. She's at the end. She's lubed. Now the nice thing about these hand pieces, I've just been using the same one. I've thought of buying some different hand pieces, and I think I might, because I'm just going to hang this back up. It's just hanging from a hook over top of my bench here. I've been thinking of buying a bunch more hand pieces so I don't have to change tooling. It'll save me some time. I'm not a production shop, but I still do this in my spare time. And my new career path in construction management and having a kid, kind of, my time constraints are different now. And so it'd be nice to maybe be able to do things a little quicker, but let's see what... And you guys can see, I actually bent that. So that was my bad. I bottomed it out. And it bent, and that's it. I probably can't straighten this enough that it'll be any good. No, it's wallowed out. So we'll junk this on. Sometimes if you put these in a little deeper, it'll get rid of the run out. I don't have another one of these. There we go. Okay, let's try that again, friends. I'm not going to do as much work on video as I was, but okay. Okay, and I'm just going to go on to this side. These are really handy. These round ones are really handy. You can really get into some tight spots. I like them for right here. Okay. For this area, when you hog out the transfers, it's nice to be able to build a little ramp here. Somewhere for the air to go around. There we go. Well, that looks pretty good. I just like to make sure everything matches before I do my finish work. I think we're pretty good in there. And again, leave it nice and rough. It'll be fine, trust me. Rough is good when it comes to this kind of stuff. I know it doesn't look good. My problem is with saw builders, a lot of them, the ones that are on the internet, is that, you know, if you're building saws for the internet and you're posting videos or pictures of your work, and if you're trying to drum up work, well, I get it. If you show work that looks like this, it's really rough, and to people that don't know what they're doing or looking at, they might think you're not doing a good job. And contrary to that is, you want it rough because it'll flow better. Okay. There it is there. I'm going to leave this rough because I've done both rough and shiny. Not shiny, but rough and finished. Meaning I'll put like a cartridge roll in there, and honestly, rough seems to run better. So, okay, I'm going to blow this out. Let's just put a few chamfers on. I'll show you guys that. And then we've avoided catastrophe, but I think that's what we're going to do today. I'll also run that cartridge roll in here a bit. This one fits. If you have a smaller saw, you're going to have to peel this back about half. Okay. I'm just going to blow this out and let's keep going. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit of chamfering. You don't have to chamfer your lower transfers generally. Put your piston in there and see where it goes. I'm going to show you the problem with these if you buy the short ones. I really like these though. They're very sharp. They do a nice job, but the problem with these is, especially if you're using a Dremel, is they're too short. For me, they are anyways. I have a hard time getting in there, but I'll show you guys right now. Okay. This thing, they're nice for the intake. Okay. I can go in and I'll show you guys. I can go in on my intake just like this. Okay. I can go in with my intake and just go like this. Okay. Just take it and run it along the edge. Okay, and you could see what you're doing. Okay, I'm just breaking the edge. If you come off a little bit on the corners, don't worry about it. Okay, this takes practice. This might not be something that comes easy to you, especially at the top here. Okay, just gonna hit this corner. All I'm doing is breaking the edge. Now I'll do the full top. Again, the camera's in between me and what I'm working on. Okay. Okay, can you get, there you go. Can you see that? See that little shiny spot? That's my chamfer. Okay. You see it on the bottom there? Now I'm going to hit that bottom one more time, because that's the part I really ground on. Okay. Now, after you do that, take your 600, 800 grit, whatever you want to use, and go like this. Okay, and at the beginning, it'll feel kind of rough. And already, okay, just use your finger. You don't need anything fancy to do this. Okay, that feels almost like glass already. Okay, that's what you want. You don't want your chamfers to be too big. I find that can be a problem too. And you want to make sure they're on about a 45-degree angle. If they're too shallow, you may rub your piston a little bit. Don't let this scare you though. And here's the thing, friends. If you just started doing this, run your saw, idle your saw for 10 minutes, and then look. Pull the carb off, pull the muffler off, and look. Sometimes you're going to get a cylinder that just won't cooperate. I've had ones before where I've chewed up a piston and you take it apart and the chamfering looks fine. I've had ones that the chamfering looks rough and you don't get any marks. Small, fine marks on the sides of the ports. That tends to happen. Don't worry about it. By the time the saw's broken in, you won't see those anymore. Okay, and that's pretty much a finished chamfer. Now, here's the problem with these really short ones. The exhaust port, you can't really see what you're doing because you're so far in there. So, again, the longer ones are definitely a better deal. I'm going to do that exhaust chamfer off camera because I'm not going to be able to see. Okay, but I'll basically go in there with this. Okay, and I'll run it right along that edge there. Top, bottom, and sides. Let's have a look at this cartridge. This roll-off cartridge. These work really well. Again, I'll undo this. So the nice thing about a Foredom hand tool is you can pretty much grab any size of mandrel. See, and this is a fairly big mandrel. Again, I made this on my lathe, so okay, and you can go in there with this right here. Okay, look at the finish. That's a milled finish there. It's rough, and you can go in there with this. Okay. This might be where you want to wear a mask, especially if you're indoors. Okay, you don't want to be breathing that stuff in. Okay, and I'll just go in there with this. Nice thing about this versus the drums work really good too. See, that's starting to smooth it out. Getting rid of my milling marks. The drums are great, but the problem is with the drums, they get clogged and then you got to change them. With this, all I have to do is peel off the outer layer and keep going. Okay, you can make this as shiny as you want. You just don't want anything for the carbon to stick to, okay? You just go round and round and round until it's shiny. Now I'm going to show you guys this. This will be pretty shiny already. Have a look at that. Okay, doesn't look as good on film, but you can see it? Oh, you're starting to get some sheen there. Okay, friends, thanks for jumping in. Post any questions if you have any below. This is the step that most people have a hard time with. And just take your time when you're doing your finishing. Take your time. Use your pinky or whatever digit you want, but run it around in there. Make sure everything feels like glass. And anything that's going to touch the piston that feels like glass shouldn't mark it. Anything that's sharp or any rough edges, that's going to score up your piston. That's the difference between a professional port job and an at-home kind of, don't know what you're doing port job. A professional can do his finishing in such a way that it doesn't touch the piston. Anyhow, thanks for watching. Take her easy. I'll see you in a couple days. Later.